Hi guys, and welcome back to Rachel's Enchanting Cakes. Now today I'm going to be showing you how to do this stunning effect around the sides of your cakes. The topper on here is already available as a separate free tutorial that I will also leave in the description below this video. But how amazing does that look? Would you believe me if I told you I've done this using only two different tools? It's a really great effect. It's fantastic if you're a beginner baker, believe it or not. Give it a go. If you like what you see, please do subscribe to the channel, give it your support, share the video, and I will be back soon with more free tutorials. Happy baking everyone, and let's get started. For this tutorial, I'm using a cake dummy. However, I do have a wonderful recipe to create a lovely 4-inch deep, 8-inch round cake. Those are the sizes of the cakes I tend to make, and I will leave a link to that for you in the description below this video. So what are you going to need? Well, the main pieces of equipment, they're relatively simple, and the majority of you will already have them. I like to use spacers for my fondant. These are exactly 5mm thick, so they keep the fondant lovely and even when you cover the cake. That's not a necessity, but that's just what I choose to do. A large rolling pin, obviously a cake smoother for when the fondant is finally on the cake. I'm choosing to use the silver edible balls. I absolutely love these. Edible glue. And then the main tools that are going to create this wonderful effect. This is by Patchwork Cutters, and it's the Trellis that you are wanting to buy. I will leave a description again just below this video if you want to purchase one. And I'm choosing just to use a simple flower plunger. You can use any type of flower you want. Even if you choose to use a flower, you may want to use something different. So basically, this is the only equipment that you're going to need to create this amazing cake. So let's make a start. The first thing you need to do is roll 900 grams of white fondant in between your spacers, just so it's exactly 5mm thick. I'm working on a cake dummy, so all I'm going to do now is add some water to help the fondant stick. Obviously, you'll be using the cake, so as long as your cake is crumb coated, you can just add the fondant directly to the cake. You'll also notice, even though I am using a cake dummy, I have placed it on a cake board and on some baking parchment. This is a really good idea when you're doing a cake as well, because what I do, as soon as I've covered the cake with fondant, I then place it in the fridge. Yes, the fridge. Leave it overnight, and I can literally pick the cake off, peel away the baking parchment without damaging the cake because it's gone rock hard, and place it directly onto a cake drum. Yes, it will sweat a little bit, but it's only condensation. It will soon dry out, and no, the colours do not run. Unless you've started to paint a cake, if you've just got a blank canvas, it will be perfectly fine. So what you want to do now, using your rolling pin, and just because it makes it that little bit easier, lift up your rolled out fondant. Now this is going to be slightly more difficult to cover because it is a cake dummy and there's no weight to it. So I'm just going to hold the back. And first of all, place over your rolled out fondant. You then want to start negotiating all of the pleats and covering the sides, like so. Now taking your smoothers, simply smooth around the sides. And finally, before we give it one last smooth, cut off any excess fondant. Now for me, this will be a little bit more difficult just because of all the water that's gone onto that baking parchment. But for a normal crumb coated cake, you won't have any issues at all. So I've just gone round the outsides, and some of it might stick to that parchment, we might be lucky. I'm going to be lucky this time. There we go. And just pull away all of the excess. And then what I like to do is just give it one last smooth, but just with this one, just around the edges. And just keep on doing that until you've got a perfectly flawless finish. So once you have covered your cake, you then want to take the patchwork cutter trellis, and now what we're going to do is go all the way around the sides. Now I do advise you take your time doing this. It doesn't matter if it's really accurate because we're all going to be adding more features on there afterwards, but you do need to do it whilst your fondant is still soft. Now again, just because I'm using a cake dummy, there's no weight to this, so it's going to move. So I'm just going to hold mine in place with my smoother. And it is literally a case of placing it on your board and gently pushing it in so that you get the effect all the way around. So that's the first one I have done, and then you literally just want to align it up. I'm going to leave a slight gap, just a small one, and then you repeat the process. And if I just hold this up towards the camera, more at an angle, you can see the effect I'm creating. All I'm going to do is cover the rest of this cake, show you the finish, and then just show you how you can turn something so simple into something absolutely stunning. I have continued to cover the cake with that trellis pattern. If I just lift it towards the camcorder, you can see, I'm going to try and twist this all the way around without dropping it. It is sliding. There we go. How that lovely trellis pattern is all the way around the sides of this cake. Now this is the fun part where it all starts to come to life, but also the time consuming part. I'm choosing to use Deep Purple by Renshaw's. I have the flower cutter that I mentioned at the beginning of the tutorial and my silver balls. And literally all you do, you want to cut out a flower, tiny amount of edible glue. Remember, if you're using dark colours, once they are on a white cake, if you take them off, it does leave behind some colouring. And then just where the crosses are is where I'm choosing to place my flowers. I'm using a plunger because then a little bit more edible glue just in the centre of the flower. And like I said earlier, very time consuming. And that is what I'm aiming to achieve. Now I'm going to cover the rest of this cake just using this technique and show you the results. And this is what you are aiming to achieve. Now, how effective does that look? You have seen how simple it was to do. I will not lie, the flowers take a while to add, so you do need to take that into consideration with your pricing. But overall, it's just an amazing effect by using just a couple of very simple tools in a different way, which I always love to do. I'm just going to add one more thing to this. You'll notice the drum hasn't been covered. This is just because it's been done for tutorial purposes. But I have a separate tutorial on how to make this absolutely adorable elephant. How adorable. Absolutely perfect. Simple shapes. I will leave a link to the tutorial for the elephant in the description below this video. Give it a go, guys, and happy baking, and I will be back soon with more free tutorials.